All right. We will now reconvene this meeting into open session for the purpose of potential action upon the consideration of the closed session items. Is there a motion to go back into open session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are now back in open session. So we have deliberated for the purpose of considering a reconsideration request of the dismissal of the citizen complaint of citizen RM. Is there a motion with regards to that complaint?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, and just to be clear, I'm sorry, someone presented what the actual motion is.
Motion to dismiss the citizen complaint. Do I need to say the name or?
I think that's fine. Citizen complaint of RM. We'll leave it at
Okay.
that. So we have a first and second motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion passes. All right. Next on the agenda, we have monthly presentations. We'll start with Chief Bartek for the monthly presentation, Fire Department, and departmental updates. Thank you. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for seeing me this morning. So to start with the monthly report, it was a fun month. We had a lot of neat stuff going on, and I'll point to the cover of the cover photo of the monthly report with myself, several members of Local 415, Mayor Rosenberg, and Alder Denny, all invited to the Fire Ops 101 event hosted by the Professional Firefighters of Wisconsin. It was an educational event designed by them to educate community decision makers. There was 65 decision makers, community leaders from across Wisconsin that came that day. The PFFW put on a stellar event. I couldn't have been more impressed with Mayor Rosenberg and Alder Denny. They were right away in the morning fitted for full turnout gear, given a short briefing, and then immediately thrown into 5 different tailored scenarios to demonstrate what firefighter paramedics go through on a regular basis. And the first was a ambulance call with a pulseless non-breathing patient, and they were given equipment and told where the patient was. They raced down the hallway, and underneath the tutelage of instructors, they had to try to resuscitate this patient through CPR, the insertion of an endotracheal tube, an IO, IV access where they drill into a bone in the tibia to give vital fluids and drugs. And then, of course, in the end, everybody's patient survives. It's a great day, but I was really impressed with the realism as they go into that room. They put a lot of pressure onto these decision makers. There was screaming children in the background, and it was very lifelike mannequins that were all controlled by controllers with iPads. And then they went from that to some firefighting operations. I watched Mayor Rosenberg jump through a window to execute a search to save a ragdoll baby, which she successfully did. Alder Denny was the first one to go through the smoky door holding a hose line, dragging a 1 3/4 hose line. And then it all culminated at the end with them grabbing extrication tools and carving up cars. And so it was just a really great day for education. I appreciate Mayor Rosenberg and Alder Denny's commitment to that day. I mean, you can come in and just kind of blase through the day and maybe not pick that much up, but they really embraced what the instructors were saying at each station, really wanted to participate. I think we were all worn out by the end of the day. So that was really something that really remarkable that occurred. Other things that we've detailed in the report, one of the things I'd like to point out is, I'll speak a little bit ahead of the report here. So we've been, as you know, been seeking CAS accreditation of our department, and we are closing in on that. On July 10th and 11th, we are going to have 2 of their evaluators here to evaluate the department and our application for CAS accreditation. And it's not about the final accreditation, it's been about the process to accreditation and the identification of things that we needed to improve inside of our processes inside of our department. And one of those was we were not surveying our customers. So if you go to any healthcare institution these days, what are they followed up with? You're immediately getting surveys about the care that you received from all types of metrics. And we had not been doing that, and that's what professional organizations of excellence do. And so it's one of the CAS accreditation requirements. And so we have contracted with a company that specializes in that, and in Chief Thompson's report here, he's got what that report looks like monthly. And so what they do is they compile all of their clientele's information each month, and then we're scored against all these other departments that are seeking these surveys. So there was about 7,100 patients this last month. 31 of those patients were ours, 224 organizations, EMS organizations, and we rank at or well above any other benchmark that you see from these other departments. So we transport about 500 patients a month, but as you know, I don't know a lot about surveys, but they say you really get like just a few % back, people that return those. Hopefully maybe we get a little bit more buy-in from the community, because obviously we're going to listen to those. And sometimes they're accompanied with comments that people have made. Typically we're directing those to the paramedics that rendered care. They're usually complimentary. So we're excited to feature that. One of the things that we completed in May also was our CIP requests. We're going to be going this Thursday in front of the committee, the CIP committee, to talk about that. We had several requests inside the department, all notable, or all needs that we had, but we had to whittle that down just to a few to try to show what our priorities are. Again, this year we're asking for $815,000 to buy 811 and 813 Floral Avenue, otherwise known as the Flower Shop property on Floral and Grand. Our central station, another year since the facility report that I presented last year, is considered to erode. It needs either millions and millions of dollars of work to upgrade to just keep it at status quo, but it doesn't meet our needs. We're out of office space. We don't have enough apparatus floor space. It's failing in many measures, and this community needs to begin to talk about what the replacement of that station looks like, which to me is the first part of that. The first leg in that is the purchase of a property that we can then begin to design a station around. It's going to be a lengthy process that will outlive my tenure with this department, but it's something that I continue to keep at the forefront of everything I talk about. Our other two requests are, one, again, with the problem with Fire Station 1, it was designed in the late 1950s, and when our female firefighters get welcomed into the department, that station alone tells them they're not welcome, because in the late 1950s, there was no female firefighters in our trade. And so the station was never designed with them in mind. It has a massive open bunk room. If you've ever been there, come down for a tour if you haven't. I'd be happy to show you, where all of the firefighters sleep in one room together. It's not fair to any of the firefighters, regardless of gender, because you should have some privacy in those environments. So one of the requests that we're doing is, because we know that the replacement of that station is way down the line, Station 3 is not up for replacement, or will it need replacement in the future? And that also has a bunk room. That one may even be worse. It's a very small room, not much bigger than the council chamber you're in. Which we'll be hosting now more firefighters because of the initiative that we drove last year. Once the staffing is up to our new model, we're requesting to put in it'll be like if we were to say separate off rooms, it has a lot of electrical and HVAC impacts on that room, which would really be enormously costly. The cheapest thing that we've able to come up with that would work for that, and we've got a company, Samuels Group, that helped us design this concept, and it would be basically a tall walled cubicles with a sliding door on the front of each of that. And we would retrofit those into Station 1 and Station 3 to allow some proper privacy between coworkers while they work their 24-hour shifts, or sometimes much longer than 24-hour shifts. The total cost for that, I believe, was $115,000. So that was one of our other requests. And lastly, we are requesting the completion of a project we started last year at Station 3. The apparatus floor there, the drains are heaving, the concrete is spalling. So we're working this year to get that corrected off of last year's CIP request. One of the other elements of that reconstruction of the apparatus floor is that station does not have a turnout gear extractor, which is a washing machine specifically designed for turnout gear, and it doesn't have a dryer for that. We have it at Station 1, we have it at Station 2, but Station 3 has to transport their dirty turnout gear downtown to wash it, and it's a logistical problem. And it's also more contamination time with our firefighters to their dirty gear. So we're requesting money to complete that project, to install a washer extractor on the newly completed apparatus floor, new lockers. And then while we're at it, I mean, why don't we put on a coat of paint, because it's very old and dingy in there, and it'd be like new apparatus floor. So those are the three CIP requests that we're making. The other one that I highlighted in the report that I'd like to talk about again today, as you're aware, I've been researching a community care paramedic position for Wausau Fire Department. I made a presentation to the police and, the Public Health and Safety Committee last week, Monday, about this. Really, I made the presentation. I wanted to listen. If they felt like it was worth it for our community, then I would lean further into developing, potentially developing that position and continuing to seek commitments in the community to fund it. And the voice from that committee was definitely that they are more interested. They're more interested in learning more and progressing with that. So I'll be moving forward with that. And thus far, we've had some community partners that are willing to work with us to help fund this position. Those are in our healthcare partners where we transport to. That's where they typically see the cost savings because of a lower readmission rate. And really, this community care paramedic position would be a hybrid one, specifically tailored for the Wausau community. And the fact that a traditional role for a community care paramedic is to reduce readmissions of aging and elderly patients in our community that gets discharged for certain criteria, COPD, CHF, pneumonia, new onset or newly discovered diabetes. A community care paramedic will arrange 2 in-home visits for that person in which they'll review their discharge papers. They'll go over several assessments of their home. Do they have proper nutrition in the home? Slips and trips, fall hazards, fire hazards. And one of the ones that we often find that can be a troublemaker for people in discharge is a review of their medications that they have in their home, sometimes prescribed by multiple providers, outdated. We see polyoverdoses frequently in those cases. And what is proven in data and research from other communities that are using community care paramedics is they drastically increase the health of the people that they visit. And even understanding the discharge papers. When you get discharged from the hospital, it's confusing. You've got a nurse, you've got discharge people, case manager. The doctor comes in for a couple minutes and you're given this paperwork. Follow this to achieve the best health once you're on discharge. Well, now a patient, kind paramedic sits at their side in their home and talks about what that discharge actually looks like and what they can do to prolong their health and not be readmitted. And what that really does for us is typically they access that healthcare system by dialing 911 and being transported by one of our ambulances. And of course, as you see every year and every month in our report, as our call volume increases, what are we doing to try to depress that call volume as much as we can? Well, this is where a community care paramedic, we know, will help depress that repeat call of these patients with recent discharge diagnoses of certain criteria. The other area where we think that this will really make a difference in the Wausau community, which would be unique, there's another community that's using it, Madison, community care paramedics with their homeless unhoused and healthcare access there. So we would envision this community care paramedic working with the police department social worker and helping provide connections from to the homeless and unhoused in our community to healthcare assets in our community that they might not otherwise utilize. And so rather than dialing 911 for a non-acute issue, they would have access, they would have a relationship with our community care paramedic as would be arranged through our city social worker and of course relationships with all those different resources in our community. So we're pretty excited about the development of the position. I'm going to continue to work on that and hopefully be prepared to make a presentation to the Public Health and Safety Committee on what that would actually look like in July. I need to meet with the HR director and make arrangements to go on the HR committee agenda at some point also, and then finance. So it would have to go through 3 committees before it would go to council. But I think it's worth it. Any questions on the monthly report before I get into an announcement that I'd like to make? Okay. As all of you are aware, but the public is not aware, last week I gave my notice to all of you and to Mayor Rosenberg that I am retiring. I'm very excited about that. December 15th will be my last day serving as the proud fire chief of the city of Wausau. Serving as the fire chief of the city of Wausau Fire Department has been the pinnacle of my fire service career. My passion for the job and serving others is greater than it ever has, which made my decision to retire extremely difficult. However, after 30 years of working professionally in this trade, the time has come to hang up my helmet and start the next chapter of my life. I am eternally grateful for the opportunity to work for the city of Wausau as a deputy chief and fire chief. The men and women of the Wausau Fire Department make a fantastic team. The department is comprised of unique individuals who lock arms in their shared desire to serve others in their time of need. Multiple times a day, they demonstrate their self-sacrifice and courageous service to the community that they've sworn to serve. I'm proud to have been a small part of this amazing organization's work. And so I'm excited to move into that next chapter. When you're in our positions, they're extremely time-consuming, they're extremely stressful, and I couldn't have done what I was able to do here without the amazing support of my coworkers, Chief Bliven, Mayor Rosenberg, the other directors that I'm privileged to work with every day, my coworkers at the station, but most of all, my family, my wife and children. You know, they sacrifice to allow me to do this job every day, and I'm super excited about dedicating the rest of my days to them. So thank you very much. I've 6 months notice. I've given 6 months notice to hopefully help assist you in finding an appropriate replacement for me, and I volunteer my services and time and knowledge or anything I can do to help this committee reach a good decision. And I'd like to pass the baton of leadership in the office if possible. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief
Thank you.
Done an excellent job, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Bartek, for your service. I will reserve my comments to the end. And next up, we have Chief Bliven with the monthly report and departmental updates for the Wausau Police Department. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. I just want to say a couple of comments about Chief Bartek. First of all, I think I'm a NFL fan. I love football, and you think about generational talents and people like Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Tom Brady, and the people that come into the league and they change the league and they leave their teams much better than what they found it. And I think that's what we have in Chief Bob Bartek. He's just been an amazing leader, somebody who is not afraid to jump in and do the work of a paramedic or a firefighter if necessary. He trains hard. But he's an outstanding leader, and he's been an outstanding leader for this community. And I'm proud to know him. I'm better for knowing him and for watching him work at the fire department. So congratulations on your retirement, sir. For the police department update this month, I just wanted to talk a little bit about homelessness. I think this is a theme at our Public Health and Safety Committee meeting, at our City Council meeting, and maybe at our Police and Fire Commission meetings as well. A couple of months ago, we began holding accountable people who are violating ordinances in the parks, and so we've eliminated the encampments that really had started to form over the last couple of years in our downtown area. And so we have officers assigned to that duty every day, and our CSOs who have started working a couple of weeks ago have been doing that patrol and that enforcement as well every day. So we're seeing a lot of success from that. The encampments are almost gone. But we still have issues with homelessness. We're still working with Catholic Charities and Open Door. The city's allocated a lot of funds for those programs, and so we're working with them to make sure that those programs are successful. And we have regular contact with them. In fact, we have another meeting later today in that regard. So, I think we're making some progress. We still have a lot of work to do. But our officers, our staff are working really hard to try to remedy that issue in a compassionate way. One where we can connect people to resources and make sure that if they're willing to take that hand up, that they can get out of homelessness. So it's been really great to watch our team come together and work through those issues on homelessness. Similar to the fire department, we had our capital budget requests presentation last week. We have 2 capital budget requests. One is for a fence to provide security for our staff at our parking lot. We did that 2 years ago. It got approved, but by the time we went to get bids, the project had outpaced the amount of money we had in our budget. So we reallocated those dollars and are just starting a project to build detective offices with walls with that money, and now we're coming back asking for enough money for that fencing project at our police department. Over the last few years, we've had a lot of incidents and issues in our parking lot. We've had officers assaulted on a couple of occasions. We have people regularly driving through our parking lot, videotaping all of the cars and license plates, both of our unmarked squads and of personal vehicles in the parking lot, and a variety of other issues with that. So we're asking for money to build a fence and make sure that our staff are safe as they go about their duties as a police officer. The second request is for a facility survey, a facility needs assessment, and we have a building that's 25 years old. We moved into the police department in 1998. It still seems like a new building comparative to most of the other buildings in the city, but we're really outgrowing that building. We had 60 sworn police officers at the time it was built. We have 79 today. In addition to that, we have a lot of additional staff inside the building and additional teams and equipment that we need to find places for. So if you come into the building, you'll see some of the original offices and whatnot haven't changed, but if you go into the basement of the building, every inch of that is different today than it was in 1998 because we're continually trying to retrofit space for our different units and different storage needs that we have. So we're hoping that we can get a facility needs assessment. I think in probably a 3 to 5 year time frame, we'll likely be coming to the city council asking for dollars in order to make our building bigger and to provide a better space for our staff. So that facility needs assessment would be very helpful in that regard. We have a lieutenant retirement that's upcoming in January, and so we are just starting to design a lieutenant promotional process, and we're hopeful that we can have that in place and a lieutenant selected by the time that retirement comes in January. So that person that is selected in that process would likely be here in front of you, the Police and Fire Commission, hopefully by December, maybe November, if we really get on our game here. And then we're in the middle of a hiring process, actually getting towards the end of a hiring process. Likely next month we'll have people here, officer candidates here for you to interview, and so hopefully we can get that taken care of as well. That's the update that I have. Is there any questions before I give an announcement? Thank you. Not too different than Chief Bartek, I've made a decision to accept another job at a local company, and my last day will be September 1st with the City of Wausau. This has been a great career. I've really enjoyed my time here in the City of Wausau. Starting 23 years ago, I think there were a couple of you on the Police and Fire Commission when I got hired back in the year 2000, and have seen every step of my career, and I appreciate all the work that you guys have put in as a Police and Fire Commission to support the police department. I know it sometimes feels like a grind to come to these meetings and get these updates and sit through a bunch of interviews and all those things, but the work that you do is really important. And so I think as a result of that work, we have an outstanding police department. I have heard from people around the state about our department and the talent that exists within the walls of our police department. And I'm honored to work with them, and I'm sad, very sad to be leaving them. But I know that on the bright side, we have multiple candidates internally for every position that exists within our police department. Our philosophy is hire for character and train for skill, and we take that both of those very seriously. And we have excellent people because we search for excellent people, and we only hire people who have high character. And then we invest in them, and we invest in them significantly. So as a result of that, I think as you look for the person that will replace me, you'll find excellent internal candidates for police chief, and then for every position that would need to be filled if you select an internal candidate. So I'm looking forward to seeing that progress in that process. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve the citizens of Wausau, and I'm sad to be moving on, but I'm also excited to be moving on to something different in my career. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief, for your service.
Thank you, Chief. Excellent job.
Are there any other comments before I make my comments?
No, but I do feel like we should give them a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Is that appropriate? Or maybe after the meeting?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to take a moment to address both Chief Bartek and Chief Bliven's announced departures individually and acknowledge their service. Chief Bartek is, of course, a tireless public servant and has been a career professional, risen through the ranks, worked his way through, and has been an exceptional leader whose experience, vision, and determination have led the Wausau Fire Department to grow and achieve success even through the unprecedented challenges of the last few years. Chief Bartek, I would describe, is someone who is always prepared, patient, extremely hardworking, and empathetic. That's just who he is. And that is evident in the outstanding life-saving care of others that you've always given and demanded from yourself and the firefighter EMTs who serve you. Chief Bartek will leave an enduring and positive impact on his department, our Police and Fire Commission, and the city of Wausau. And it is with the utmost respect and our admiration to Chief Bartek for his dedication and many years to the fire service and his leadership at the Wausau Fire Department that on behalf of the commission, we congratulate him on his retirement and thank you for your service. Now, Chief Bliven is another exceptional leader who has also risen through the ranks and has dedicated his distinguished career to public safety and to serving this community. I would describe Chief Bliven as compassionate, tireless, and dedicated, and he has been faithful to upholding the department's core values of integrity, professionalism, and accountability, which through his leadership and example have become representative of all those that serve under him in both word and in actions. Chief Bliven's approach and vision for the Wausau Police Department not only set the standard for what modern policing should be, but also set the expectation for who the people who serve and wear the badge, who they should be, and reaffirmed the department's commitment to community, which is evident in the work the department has done in addressing tough issues like domestic violence, homelessness, and mental health. And it is with the highest regard and deepest appreciation that we also congratulate you, Chief Bliven, on your years of service, and thank you. Now, in closing, I just want to say we have been so truly blessed here in Wausau to have both Chief Bartek and Chief Bliven leading our fire and police departments. And though these are undoubtedly big shoes to fill on both sides, they will be leaving both departments in incredibly great shape, and more importantly, in having prepared the path for our future leaders in those departments, which is a credit to them both. Their lasting legacies and impact are both aspirational and inspirational for their departments that they've served in and for this community as a whole. And we are a safer and better community because of them and their leadership. And personally, I just want to say I will miss you both. And it has truly been an honor and a privilege to work with you both. Thank you so much. And with that, the next meeting will be on July 24th, Monday at 7:30, and I'll take a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are now adjourned. Thank you.